But life is not over yet, for there is more to it than just eating. What will the humans do? What gifts will the gods give their new children? And this is when like Xiaoshu Spirit of the Waters, would like start talking about how humanity was brought to a place of pain and a place of torment, and we are meant to survive. And it is man's place with his spear and shield. He is to be in the middle of the plain to guard the home, to plant the fields. And it is woman's place to be at the hearth of the home with her spinning warp and the gift of medicine. And so the great gods begin to distribute their gifts, and they give woman another gift. They give her the calendar, the ability to divide the seeds and to heal. And they divide the calendar into 14 days, of which there are another 14 days that are not as lucky. And so woman with her calendar and the ability to do mathematics, she is still missing her last gift, the gift of medicine. And again, the gods play another dice game. For how will they procure medicine? For only things that are good are born through sacrifice. So who will die so that woman can have her gift of medicine? And they play another dice game. And Quetzalcoatl is again chosen to find medicine for woman on Earth. And so he goes to space. For there exists the object of his affection. I don't remember her name again, but she is guarded by her grandmother, the great star demon, and her minions. And Quetzalcoatl goes up to her, and he convinces her to run away with him, for he is strong and fast. He will protect her. He will bring her to Earth, and they will have a family. And so he brings her down to Earth, and they turn themselves into a tree. Quetzalcoatl becomes the branch on the left, and his wife becomes the branch on the right. But in time, after hundreds of years, scouring the Earth, scouring the galaxy, the star demon, her grandmother, finds her and kills her. He breaks the branch off the tree, tearing her to pieces, feeding her to her minions. And this is always the part of the story that, like, drives me nuts, because Quetzalcoatl literally shows up in heaven and is all like, oh, I'm fast and strong, I'll protect you, baby. And then he doesn't. He just lets her die. But, and so the gods gather her pieces, and they mix her body with... The gods gather her pieces, and they build for her a great bonfire. And they take her ashes, and they mix them with water. And again, the gods pour their blood into this, and from these ashes and blood, an agave plant sprouts. This will become the maguey, what people use to make medicine. And now woman has all of her tools. She can both divide the seeds and heal now. But the world is not done yet. For while humans are joyous, there is no sun or moon in the sky. And so again, the gods determine that only things that are good can come through sacrifice. And they build another great bonfire. And they determine that in order for the sun to be born, one of the gods must throw themselves into the fire and die. But none of the gods want to die. And so they begin to bicker back and forth, decide among themselves. They point fingers at each other. They go, oh, you Tezcatlipoca, you should throw yourself into the fire. You are most worthy. Oh, no, 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 Talak. Yeah, I think it should be you. No, me. What about me? I bring the rain. What about Shashulikwe, spirit of the waters? There don't need to be two of us, right? But all of this bickering goes nowhere until one of the other brave gods, the brave one, Teku sees Takat, steps forward. And he says, I will throw myself into the fire. But the other gods don't believe him, for he is the proud one. Teku sees Takat claims many things, for that is the price of pride. And so they do not believe him. And so none of the other gods, now wanting to risk their own personal well-being, they play another dice game. And the result is like the last. Nanawatsi comes out, and so he is chosen also to throw himself into the fire. And so Teku sees Takat and Nanawatsi separate themselves from the other gods for 5 days, and they go through a ritual of cleansing. And Teku sees Takat, the proud one. His cleansing is very, very elaborate, very ornate. He dresses himself in the finest of silks. He puts the quetzal feathers in his hair. He does a necklace of shells around himself. He takes his coral spines as offering and he paints them the most brilliant red. And his incense is also fine. He uses sandalwood. But Nanawatsi is not like this. Nanawatsi is very humble and is very sickly. And so Nanawatsi makes his offering of himself. He cuts off the scabs that are on his skin and he lights them on fire and he uses them as the incense. He takes spines from the maguey plant and he covers them in his own blood to be used as his offering. And after 5 days, when they are good, when they are pure, they come back to the other gods and are brought to the great fire. And all the other gods cheer, for they now know that the world is almost complete. All they have to do is wait for Teku sees Takat to throw himself into the great fire. But Teku sees Takat, overcome with the price of his pride, tries 4 times to throw himself into the fire, and all 4 times he fails. And so Nanawatsi, bored of this, throws himself into the fire on his first attempt. And his skin crackles and burns. The other gods can smell the smoke. And he begins to rise into the air. He becomes the first sun. And Teku sees Takat, overcome with not being the first, overcome with his jealousy, closes his eyes and he runs into the great fire. And he rises into the sky like Nanawatsi did. But the great sky does not need 2 suns. And so for a period of 4 months, the humans and the gods all cry out, for the sun has not moved an inch. It has been day ever for 4 months. Everyone suffers. And so in an attempt to blind the radiance of one of the suns, the gods find a rabbit and they throw it into Teku sees Takat's face to dim his light, and he becomes the moon, ever following the path of Nanawatsi around the sky. But Nanawatsi does not move yet. The sun has not moved. And so the gods, they climb up into the sky and they ask Nanawatsi, why are you not moving, great god of the sun? And he says, because you have not fed me. I require your blood, the blood of the gods, to make my journey across the sky. And so the gods resign themselves to their face and they all agree, let us all die. And so Quetzalcoatl is again chosen to kill all the gods and to sacrifice their blood and bones to move Nanawatsi, the sky god, across the sky. But one of the gods is filled with fear. Shalot is filled with fear, and he runs from Quetzalcoatl when it is his turn to die. And he runs 3 times from Quetzalcoatl. The first time, he hides himself in the cornfield amongst the humans, and he is uncovered by Quetzalcoatl. The second time, he disguises himself as a maguey plant, and again he is uncovered by the great god of knowledge. And the third time, he tries to disguise himself as a mud puppy, an axolotl. And this time, the great god of knowledge finds him and kills him. But this too is not enough to satisfy Nanawatsi, now the god of sun. And so Quetzalcoatl gives of himself, his breath of life, to move the sun across the sky. And it is now the fourth world, the world of movement, the world of four movement, our world, that has been completed. And it is called for movement because it is believed that our world will end in a great calamity. There will be suffering in times of war and unbelievable famine. And so it is up to us to whether or not to live with. And so it is up to us to make the sacrifice of the gods into something good. It is up to us, the humans, now to continue their great sacrifice. For they will live in our image. And so it is believed that the purpose of our fourth world is us to sing and dance for our children. And this is how the world, our world, came to be.